I became a hypnotherapist because of two moments of what I think of as divine intervention. The first, I was working in the hospital cleaning up beds when people died or went home, and I absolutely hated the job. I had to wear this ugly cotton candy pink dress. I felt like everybody looked down on me. That was probably just my own projection. I felt like I wasn't using my talents, my skills. I wasn't doing anything rewarding or meaningful. I was basically counting the hours when I was at work until I could go home. So one night at work, I had this thought that just came from out of the blue, divine intervention. The thought was maybe I should quit my job and figure out what I want to be when I grow up. So I called my husband, who at the time said, if that's what you want to do, go right ahead. And I wrote out my resignation, stuck it in my supervisor's office, and walked out of the hospital walking on air. And then I talked to my mom. My mom, very practical woman, said, don't you think you better figure out what you want to be when you grow up before you quit your job? I was like, oh, damn it, she's probably right. So all of this happened on a Friday night. I went back to the hospital for my next shift Saturday afternoon, and I asked my supervisor if I could withdraw my resignation. And much to my surprise, he told me they had already processed it. This was an organization that would take months to process your vacation pay. And yet, somehow, between, I don't know, 11 o'clock on a Friday night and 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, they managed to process my resignation. So I walked around for the first while thinking, oh, what do I do? I had been there for 10 years. So I was brainstorming. I could start all over with no seniority and work my way back up. I could grieve it somehow, maybe. I could go cry to my supervisor and see if I could get him to, soften up. And then the thought occurred to me, or maybe I'm not meant to be here. Maybe this is the universe saying, get out of here. This isn't what you're meant to be doing. And so I decided to leave. The next moment of divine intervention, I'm a high school teacher. I was a high school teacher prior to doing hypnotherapy. And I had gotten bounced out of my job by somebody who had more seniority. So I was working as a teacher on call. My specialty was drama and theater. So the next moment of divine intervention, I was teaching on call in a theater class. And the students were all on stage rehearsing, and I was up in the lighting booth running the lights. And there was a phone book sitting there. I'm aging myself. And it occurred to me, again, out of the blue, another moment of divine intervention, to look through the phone book and see if I could find any hypnotherapy training on Vancouver Island, which is where I work or where I live. This was a completely baffling thought. I had no idea what hypnotherapy was. I might have seen Ravine once or twice when I was a kid, but I had no concept of hypnotherapy versus hypnosis. I could so feel my conscious and subconscious mind at play here. My conscious mind was thinking, hypno, what? What is that? It's going to be too expensive. I'm going to have to go to Vancouver to train. I won't be able to do this. But my subconscious kept using my finger to flip the pages until I found somebody in my area, really in my area, who would be my hypnotherapy teacher. I say really in my area because we literally lived a block away. I could almost see her house from the upstairs in my house. So when I went to meet her and talk to her about all of the things you could use hypnosis for, I had this kind of like, oh, light through the clouds moment, just realizing all the applications. So I look at it as those two moments of divine intervention, leaving the hospital and then just looking for whatever was the next thing for me, and then following that impulse to look for hypnotherapy training, even though I had no idea what it was. And I get a lot of people who tell me similar stories. They say things like, I came to have a session with you, and as soon as I met you, I knew we were going to work together more substantially somehow. Or I flukily came across your website and something about it really resonated with me. Now, I do get a lot of people who actually know what hypnotherapy is, but I get a lot of students who are intuitive types who are paying attention to those signs from the universe and find me the same way I found hypnotherapy. There's no good reason why I should have ended up in this career. I think when that happens, when you're given those nudges by the universe, it's because it's what you're meant to be doing. And so if you feel that nudge, if you're getting pushed by the universe to check out the training, follow up on that impulse. That might be your higher self bringing you to something that could be really rewarding and fulfilling for you.